Their coffee badging.
Like, welcome in. Welcome in, Jonathan. What was it? Okay. Welcome back, but not welcome in, because we're not German, but welcome to Coffee. Normally on this show, we review coffees based on our average Joe opinions about how coffees taste and should taste. And what I've learned is that that's all subjective anyway. So you could do a blind taste test and find out that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Right.
But today we're talking about coffee badging and how the tariffs may affect that.
Indeed.
She doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
So coffee badging, for you lay people.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Is for people who they were working remotely, mostly. Okay.
Okay, right.
Then the company started saying, all right, we need people to start coming back into work some.
We need to make sure you're actually doing the work. I've heard of people who, like, they took on, like, several jobs all at once, and they're getting, like, 3 or 4 salaries, and they're doing the work and getting paid, but none of these people, like, none of their bosses know that they have all these jobs because they're at home. That's
weird.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think that bosses should not be upset. It's like if you said,
if you can do both.
See, this is the freelancer in me. It's like, it shouldn't be tied to like, oh, I need to be in an office and be there for 8 hours. It's like, no, like, do you need me to do a job? How much are you willing to pay me for that job?
Right.
And then let's, do it.
That's true. On the flip side, I heard something at work, and I sell insurance now. I think at our last video, I was like leaving my last job, but I sell insurance.
But he's going back. I mean,
it's back at a place that I was before.
He was there.
So,
and then now he's
still there.
He's back.
So what I heard was this guy. So the story was he was working at a place. COVID happened. He got...
You can't say COVID on a YouTube video.
That's old news.
Oh.
You can't say gun or dead people. Or kill someone or something like that.
Unalive them, you mean?
Unalive them. But, so this guy, he got sent home to work remotely. Then he didn't get called back. And his work just kind of started going away. And then he just didn't have any jobs assigned to him. But he's still getting paid. And he was kind of afraid. This is about his health insurance. He was afraid to like talk to the HR people about his health insurance, because he didn't want them to realize that he still worked there, and was getting paid. I think that's a little unethical.
I think the ethics of that situation is if you feel like they've forgotten about you.
Yeah.
I think you. I mean, it's dumb on their part to do that. That is a major oversight. But I feel like you should always treat others the way you would like to be treated. And thus you tell people like, hey, you're paying me for a job that is not even really a job anymore.
Right. Yeah, because I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything.
So anyway, so coffee badging.
Yes.
Are these people who are supposed to return to work and do work at the office. They have some hybrid responsibilities. They're able to work at home and work from the thing. So they would come in to work, scan their badge, beep, beep, and get some coffee.
Does it make that noise when you... I don't think
at every single place. Beep, beep. It's the same. It's a software thing. You wouldn't understand. And so they would go in, they would talk to people, and they'd be like, hey, Milton, I got my coffee, And then somebody would see them there, and they saw their badge scanned and all that, and then they would go home and work.
So
they weren't even really coming in to work.
Right.
But so these companies believe that people aren't working at home, and they want to bring them back, so they're trying to stop the coffee badging.
So... I don't get it though. So that was allowed? You're saying like that's what you're supposed to do is like come in and badge in and do the work that you need to do there. But really all people are doing is like, okay, I'll scan my badge and I'll go back home.
Right. Yes.
But see, if you're doing the work that needs doing, who cares? If you're at home, I feel like this is like office space.
Yeah.
Where it's like...
Well, that's different, but yes.
I mean, like... Right? Doesn't he talk about how little work he actually does? But I mean, but it really shouldn't matter. If like the company says, we need you to, like, I don't know.
But he wasn't doing his reports correctly.
Oh, okay.
Remember? So he wasn't really doing his job correctly.
Yeah, but provided you're doing your job correctly, I feel like we should go more towards that model of like, I don't think it should be hourly in most cases. I feel like it should be like, we we pay you to do this job.
Right.
And however you need to do it, then that's how it should be done.
Well, it's going the other way. Apparently,
I don't like that.
Amazon is like requiring people to come back to the office and be at the office, and if you don't like it, you can go work somewhere else. You could go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Except for then there's this whole other thing of like everybody's hiring, but nobody who's qualified is apparently able to find jobs.
Oh, well, I have seen those videos where it's like people do really try, and then it's like, well, is there? And
or you have to have a degree to work at McDonald's.
And there's a lot of legislation going on where it's like California is the most egregious example, where they're trying to basically make it illegal to be an independent contractor, to be a freelancer. Like they're trying to really lock it down where your only option is to be an employee. Or, I mean, obviously they can't control whether you are in business for yourself or not. Like you could create,
make it more expensive.
But here's the thing, that's kind of the other aspect is like the way to control people, right, is to take away their options. And so one way, if they're like, okay, you can only really be an employee, well, you have the opportunity to go be an employer, except for if the process to become a legitimate business gets to be so difficult and expensive that you really can't do it illegally. Like you're making lawbreakers out of people. It's kind of like any type of licensing or registration that you have to do for a business, that is a roadblock. Like a lot of people end up kind of starting businesses that aren't really legitimate, quote unquote.
Not that I've ever done that.
Well, I mean, most of the time we've gotten the business license that's necessary. Although it's very difficult sometimes to know, because if you look at your local laws, sometimes it's kind of a fuzzy thing. It's like, well, I don't have people coming to my location. So do I really need one? But the point is, like, all these things are making it so that employers have more power. And that's not a good thing, in my opinion. Like, especially given how huge these businesses are getting, like Amazon, Google. I was organizing my phone's apps, like the little, I can drag them into folders.
You were organizing like them, like a union?
No, I was just trying to like put them into different folders because that's how my mind works. Like, okay, and I was going to have just a Google folder. Like, I'm just going to put all the Google type apps in there. It was like half my apps are Google based. And then I thought, that's not good.
Well, yeah, they're in control of your life.
I mean, look, my income comes from Google, a lot of it, and from Amazon. So that's kind of frightening, really, when I think about it. Like, just in my own life, how much dependency there is on the Google and the Amazon.
Yeah, if they cancel you, you're out of luck.
I mean, you're not out of luck. That's what they want you to think. But you can go do other things. But I don't think it's a good thing. I mean, I was listening to a Dave Ramsey video, and he sounded very much like the same type of employer. Like, I need you here. Like, I need you here at the thing. You don't get to work from home.
Old school.
Yeah, and I don't know if I agree. Like, I mean, I can definitely imagine that there are jobs where it's like, yes, you need to be there. Like when you're taking care of a customer, like a barista can't work remotely.
Right.
Not
Some
really.
Of them do.
They're coffee badging.
Like, welcome in. Welcome in, Jonathan. What was it? I'm just kidding. I never go to coffee shops. So I don't know what that's
just how you imagine baristas are. Yeah.
Well, I know they say welcome in.
So coffee badging. So coffee badging is... I'm confused now about technically, like, employees are trying to make it go away.
Employers. Trying to make it go away.
Right.
They're trying to get people to come back into the office.
Yeah.
And be in the office all the time.
I'm against it.
Me too. Wait, you're against coffee badging, or you're against...
Oh, no, I'm against the employer movement to try to get people... Like, because when you're at home, when you're working remotely, you can be around your kids more and your spouse more. And so I think it's a good thing.
I get less work done when I'm at my office than I get done when I'm not at my office.
Yeah, although I get less done when you're here. So...
Talk a little bit.
He does. He likes to chat. So
that's because I'm at work and
that's
I
true.
come home and then
that's true, and we collaborate on things.
But it's hard to sell insurance to people in their homes while I'm here.
That's true.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want people coming here. It doesn't really work. I tried it on the phone at one point. It wasn't
That
really,
was rough.
Yeah, phone people. But yeah, so that is what's happening there. But how might the tariffs affect this? Tariffs, for one thing, are a tax on a country by a bigger country to a smaller. I'm going to try to explain it.
Like Kamala Harris.
A tariff is a tax on a country by another country, and then that country passes the bill on to
the little guy.
So there's like these coffee tariffs. Obviously, coffee does not come from America except for Hawaii, right?
I mean, aren't there small coffee growers here in America? Didn't I hear that?
Have you ever had any Idahoan coffee?
No, but I mean, you can grow it. We just don't.
Yeah, I don't know of any. You guys in the comments might tell us about some American, other than Hawaii, coffee that's grown. I don't know of any. But the point is, places like Colombia have a 10% tariff put on there. So does that mean that the price of all Colombian coffee is going to go up by 10% to us? What's going to happen? So the coffee will come in, and the importer has to pay that tariff fee.
Right.
Okay. Then the importer is going to pass that on to the roaster.
Right.
And the roaster is going to pass that on to the shop or the consumer, depending on how many steps there are in between there.
True.
So the people that are getting it in the end are people like you and me.
As always.
Right. Now, in this long game of the tariffs, could it mean better things for America? I'm not an economist. I'm not a businessman like that. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen. Well, except for we're all eventually going to be a one world system. Maybe this is part of it. It's like, oh, let's all just charge each other a lot of different taxes and then put everybody in the poorhouse and then
collapse.
Then we'll all collaborate and be one big country. That could be it. But regardless, for the time being, it will be passed down to us, those prices. How quickly is that going to happen? Should you stock up on coffee? Should you switch to an American made stimulant? Well, caffeine's a stimulant.
Well, true.
Or maybe an American-made morning beverage, like bourbon. Bourbon is American-made. You can get it from Kentucky. There's no tariff on it.
I guess that's good logic.
Yeah. And if you're a good person, it'll put you in a better mood than coffee will.
I don't think people should start drinking bourbon in the morning. But
I don't know. Ice cream in the morning is good for your brain. So
that's true.
Bourbon could be also. So how will the tariffs, I think, this is my opinion, affect the coffee badging? All right. So the price of coffee is going to go up.
Right.
The people who were coffee badging were going to the office and getting coffee.
Right.
Okay. And then leaving.
Right.
Where were they going to get the rest of their coffee for the other parts of the day?
At home.
At home.
Right.
Where is the coffee more expensive to them?
At home.
The coffee at work is probably free.
Right.
So now the tariffs, and this might be the whole part of the tariff. This is why Trump has started them, to get more people back into the offices.
I see.
Charge a tariff, increase the price of coffee, put people back in the office so they can get free coffee.
Right.
I like free coffee at the office.
But then the business owner will end up worse off, because then their coffee costs will increase, and so it will actually cost them more money for the employers to be back at work, and also
employees'
productivity will go down.
Maybe.
Because people are not going to be happy. They're going to be disgruntled. There's going to be more turnover. So I think in the end, the little guy will win.
No, because the employer
Yes.
will see the increase in coffee prices, coffee costs to the employer, because the employees are back in there.
Right.
Okay. Not only are they there at the office now drinking more coffee, the prices of the coffee have gone up.
Right.
Right. Then the employer is going to reduce the wages of the employee.
Yes.
Right. And instead of giving them money, they're going to give them badges. We're back around to the coffee badging. They're going to give them badges and stickers and things. They're like, great work, scratch and sniff.
That would work
You
for
did
me,
one
though.
for her.
I
Yeah.
love badges.
You did a
I will
wonderful
work
job.
my heart out for a badge.
Yeah. So, in the end, again, the employee loses out.
The big guy always wins.
Yeah.
I think that's really pessimistic of you.
Ultimately, it's the government. I watched this short video explaining how NGOs work. Oh, it was about USAID. Right.
Yeah.
So the government
Yes.
gets money from a taxpayer.
Right.
The government gives part of that money to a non-governmental organization. The non-governmental organization punches a small business owner in the face and then takes money from the small business owner, which goes back to the government. And then the non-governmental organization also punches the taxpayer in the face and gets more money given to the government to protect the taxpayer from the non-governmental org. So it's a circle of life. But in the end, the government wins.
That sounds very confusing. Although all I can remember...
It's easily explained. I didn't get it.
Yeah. NGOs, like I do remember when we watched Poverty Inc., that was a big thing. Like it's showing all these NGOs in like various like African countries, and they have all these nice vehicles. They're driving around. Meanwhile, the people that they're supposed to be helping aren't being helped. Like I remember Amy Hathaway, in Donor C. In her interview on with Grit Glyer on YouTube, she talked about how like there's all this, press around like, oh, like this organization is making sure that babies get formula in these countries, but it ain't happening. So then her organization, is an actual charity who's actually doing the work, and they're having to, solicit donations from regular people to get these things done.
Right.
But the public perception is like, oh, somebody's taking care of that. And it's just that all these NGOs are out there getting lots of funding,
right,
but not actually doing anything. And and it's become quite Poverty Inc. Like it behooves them to not solve the problem, because if they solve the problem, they lose their funding because they don't need you anymore. So there's like this perverse incentive to keep things status quo.
Yeah. And the main point on Poverty Inc. was like, let's say you have this country and they need food. Okay. So the U.S. sends rice to feed those people. Meanwhile, there's a rice farmer who lives down the block and he can't produce the rice for free.
Right.
So now he's out of a job and he just becomes one of the people who has to get rice from the people.
Haiti was like a specific, like we send so much rice to Haiti and it's killing the Haitian farmers.
Right. Yeah.
And
same with clothing and all that other stuff. So when you're giving, think about those types of things. Like who are you giving to? How is it being used?
Right.
Check out DonorC.
Do check out,
It actually is like you can see what's happening.
And
video.
A great thing about DonorC, not only do you get video updates, we're not sponsored by them, by the way, we just love them. Like they show you videos of how your money was actually used. They give you updates about like this person that you helped, like how are they doing? And many times it can be like for years you get these updates.
Yeah, we got one, was it 5 years later?
Yeah, it was awesome.
A little baby that was malnourished and now she's like,
just,
and you can tell it's the same.
Going to
child.
school. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And we knew the founder of it.
Yeah.
So I think tariffs in the end are going to...
Are you for tariffs or against them?
I don't understand them enough. Here's what I'm again. I'm again things costing more money than they really need to.
Yes.
I want people to be able to get the things that they need.
Yeah.
Without, like when you look at prices of things. So in, 1970, you could get a house for like $5,000.
True.
Now in this area, I'll even go even closer to home. Okay, so like
this home?
Not this house, but when I was a realtor in 2014 through 18, 13 through 18, in our area, the average house was like $160,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And you could get a brand new one for maybe $205, something like that. A brand new, like regular house.
True.
Now it's like high threes.
Right.
Is the lowest that you can get a new, ugly subdivision house.
In a HOA.
Right. And then it's even more like that's in like, one that they're like all right next to each other. Bam, bam, bam. So that's gone up more than double.
Meanwhile, wages have
Or
not
almost
doubled.
double.
Yeah, wages have not doubled
Wages have not
during that
doubled.
time. Not even remotely.
No. So, and then what's funny is that pizza is still the same price as it was in the 90s.
Pizza goes down in price compared to the 80s or 90s. It's weird.
Yeah.
Strange.
Well, Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
They got 10 pizzas, $12 each. You can get pizza for $6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, obviously stuff's going on. People are just, we know about greedflation. We talked about this on here before.
I was just looking at an article about the price of eggs.
Yeah.
Greedflation. How that, like, they're blaming it on bird flu, and it's like, sorry, the numbers don't add up. Well, I mean,
it's not big enough.
It should not be affecting the price as it is.
Here's the problem with the bird flu. What they do, and correct me if I'm wrong, because her father was a chicken farmer. If one bird,
they'll slaughter the whole flock.
Kill thousands of chickens if they find one bird with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, wait a minute, if they're in a house, if they're all in this house, chicken house by themselves,
right?
And there's one in there. Okay, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
If the rest of them get it, the rest of them get it.
Right.
It's not going anywhere else.
Right.
Kill them before you send them off.
Yeah.
But instead, that's why we have chickens. You can't see them.
Outside. Yep.
We have 8 chickens out there, and they produce about 7 eggs a day. Not each chicken. About one egg.
Getting 56 eggs a day.
It's like endless. But it's not enough. Like, if there were no food otherwise, it's not enough food for us to eat on.
No.
But we haven't had to buy eggs since
last year.
October?
Mm-hmm.
October?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the last video we did, when Hurricane Milton was here, we had to rebuild. That was when we started getting eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten off track a little bit.
Have we?
A small bit.
I feel like
That's true. We're still talking about tariffs and stuff.
Yeah.
Eggs come from America, but they can control the egg supply by killing all the chickens.
True.
And the cows. I mean, we talked about that before when like thousands of cows were just found dead in a field, in Texas. And
like on Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Go watch that movie.
Don't watch the movie. It was fake, but
watch the movie. Yeah. Also,
so you can see how the government lies to you.
It's not a great movie, in my opinion. Like, I don't like Richard Dreyfuss's character in that movie at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like him, but there are things in that movie where it's like, interesting.
Yeah.
Like dead cows and government conspiracies, and they're trying to make you think that these things are real when they're not. Yeah. Except for there were aliens. Yes. And you communicate via music and lights.
Simon Says. Look up Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Simon Says. Or Simon, the game with the circles.
Yeah, it's not Simon Says, it's just Simon.
Actually, I don't think there was any connection made to that before, but they came out about the same time.
Mm.
I put the connection together. Anyway, I can't see how much time is on that clock right there, but I got a feeling it's about to cut off.
I feel like you're right.
The microphone over here is telling me it's been 26 minutes since I started the thing. So
it's far too long.
We want to thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
And really, you should thank us. But yeah, so just, keep an open eye about the things that are going on around you. And if you don't understand something, start a YouTube channel and talk about it.
Indeed. I feel like I know so much more now than I did 23 minutes ago.
Yeah. Are you a coffee badger? Yes or no? Put it in the comments below.